baby? Oh, shit. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing today? Wow.
That's how you do it.
Is this what it feels like when you get drafted? And it's not a lockout year? All right.
Everybody knows why we're here, Cam. So let's take a moment for an opening statement.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we're going to say, thank the Lord for the blessings of being healthy, of having a beautiful family, of everything that has been accomplished just to get to the point of being drafted by the Saints. My time at Cal was phenomenal. Being raised in Arizona was amazing. Being born in Minnesota, to watch a legend play football for a few years of my life before we got out of that cold state and into warmth where I belong, was the origin of the story. Again, to be drafted in 2011 by the Bensons, Mrs. Benson, I'm forever happy to have a phenomenal owner of an organization that from top down has been top notch. We're talking about Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, who drafted me. Appreciate the taking a chance, I guess, as I was spiraling down to pick 24 back in 2011. Sitting there in New York with the family, pops at the table, older brother, sister, cousin, Walter Venerable, the third. And, got a phone call, picked it up, and was so elated just to hear a voice on the other side of the phone saying they wanted me. I don't even remember what I said. I mean, Sean has probably shot that statement out a few times, but I said, let's do it, because in my mind, it was good to go. I was like, look, I don't know what happens from here on out, but I'm going to give you my all. So 13 years later, what is this, fourth contract, technically? Really like the third earned, like everybody's granted that contract on the first one, but third earned contract situation. Fourth overall, 13 years in. Looking to play 2-year 15, spoken into existence at like year 8 or 9. And for honestly to have the family behind me, to have everybody that I've had, I've been truly honored and blessed to enter a market as New Orleans, to enter, everything that you think that you want as a football player. Coming up as a man, coming up as a kid with dreams of playing in the NFL, to sit here and be embraced by the city of New Orleans. To sit here and be able to start so many different initiatives, sitting here with the God is Love Foundation and everything that I've been able to do in this city, being empowered not only by the Saints, by the Saints staff. You talk about Bashard Sheridan. You talk about the phenomenal media guys that we have, our equipment guys, our trainers. Back when Bo Lowry was in the building, now he's an enemy over in Denver with Sean Payton. You talk about just the phenomenal staff from day one. You talk about Bum. What is Bum's real name? John Bumgarner. Throws you off. Just everybody in this building. It has been such a phenomenal and amazing experience that I couldn't see myself being anything but black and gold. You talking about from the niche breakfast spots we go to being at Ruby Slipper Cafe, to finding wonderful situations like Zach Streif being a former teammate in opening Port Orleans and the good times that we've had there. It has. This entire essence of being drafted and being in New Orleans has felt like family and stayed like family. And I can't really see myself, luckily, I don't think I'll ever have to see myself being anything other than black and gold. So, appreciate it.
JD?
Can't you know how much it means to you to be a one-team man? So, can you just put
In soccer,
in
to be a one-club man?
Can you put into words what it means to you? I mean, obviously, following in Steve's footsteps, and Steve spent his career with one team. What does it mean to you to spend your career with one team?
It means we got old with the same team. Being born in Minnesota, you see Pops working, his work ethic, his talents, going to 6 Pro Bowls, over a 13-year career. You don't even put that in a quantifiable position of yourself. When you think about, you just want to make the NFL, think about the NFL average. When I got to league, it was like 2.7 years, 7.5. Now it's sitting at 2.98. You think about position-wise, I guess it goes up a little bit, and it goes up a little beyond 3 years. But that's just NFL stands for not for long, for a reason. And to then even have the exclusive membership of being with the team for 10 years, it's been a blessing. To turn around and 3 years later, you're sitting, heading to year 13 with the opportunity signed through year 15. I mean, what more can I say that, I'm elated just to be wanted. I'm elated to be here at this dance. Probably the first time ever I went home and, on the contract extension offer, I asked Nikki, I was like, hey, you got any pushback about this? I was like, is there any line we're drawing in the sand? Like, don't Tom Brady me. And she was like, no, she's like, we're riding till the wheels fall off. And I was like, great. I even asked Tank Jordan over here, my oldest son. I was like, hey man, I was like, what do you want to do? You want to go back to Arizona? You want to stay in New Orleans? He's like, I'm going to school this year. Okay, great. That's all I got out of him. So all his friends are here, all our friends that have become like family throughout the years. Clearly from the team, you talk about some of the best friends I'll ever have with Mark Ingram. You talk about the return of Jimmy Graham, guys that I've looked up to, John Vilma, he's still in group chats, but friends that have become family all started from here, and this has been an extension of not even a heart, but an extension of who I am. Talk about just the numerous amounts of schools that I visited over my time here. Talk about the initiatives that we started with Crescent City Corps. I think that every turn, the Saints either have been behind me, guys like Kai, who you see as a roaming shadow that doesn't get enough credit for what he does in the building. Clearly Mickey, Mrs. Benson has been a phenomenal voice at anything that we've ever done. Everything that we've wanted to do, has been a reason why I wanted to stay in building.
Cam, you mentioned Tom Brady. He kind of famously, about 20 years into his career, said,
Man.
I want to enjoy being a free agent, being courted and wooed and feeling the love. What is it that has made you now 3 times be willing to give up that? And I'm sure your agents have told you maybe a little leverage by always signing in the summer before you're a free agent. But why are you willing to give all that up to make it work?
I mean, when I say Tom Brady, I don't want to have to go to a different franchise. Tom was at the Patriots for 20 years. And that's probably the most winningest quarterback you'll ever see, somebody who has 7 Super Bowl rings. I'm still hunting for my first one, but I wanted to be in building. I want a chance to be here. He went to Tampa Bay and won another one. That's good for him. That's his storyline. I'm just saying I'd want to finish my career here. I want my storyline to be here. I would love that my story has been drafted here, kept here, been here, never played a season without guaranteed money here. Which that's probably in a category of its own right there. But the story is to let it unfold, finish, and be here. So maybe year 15, if there is a year 16 depth, we'll talk about it then. But there probably won't be. I can't wait to give everything that I've been giving to the Saints, to the city, to the community, to my family, to continue doing so for the foreseeable future, which is currently, 3 years. This year, next year, year 15, I get to see the chance to take Derek Carr back to Las Vegas. I get a chance for the Super Bowl to come back to New Orleans, and then hopefully by then I'll be looking for my second ring into my final year of this deal.
Hey Cam, you mentioned your father had tangible memories of growing up and what he did. How important is it that your family is going to have memories of this in New Orleans? Will kind of be their only memories of your NFL career?
Man, my second youngest daughter, Nia, is 5. I think that's when we left Minnesota when I was a kid. Just in, it all comes full circle. But luckily, I feel like I'm blessed enough to have older kids too, who actually have solid core memories. Maybe it'll be down at the go-kart races, or maybe it'll be, took them to LSU to go see Mike the Tiger, who wasn't there yesterday. It's too hot. We've had a record heat here. But, these core memories that they've had, when they get older, they're going to actually remember it. I've got some memories of mine, being back in the Minnesota Vikings facility, playing with some bags, opening up, random cans of random cold drinks of Gatorade, whatnot, that I didn't even, it took me 13 years to find it again because it's like a league thing, I swear. You're not going to find, those bottles anywhere else, those cans of whatever anywhere else. So these memories that I have, being a kid, we left when, again, Pops retired in what, 94? And then, so I was 5 years old at that time. I remember being locked out of cars because it was too cold, hence my distaste for cold. I remember, watching games in the stadium. I only wanted a hot dog, but it was too cold and not wanting to go back down to the seats because it's too cold. They don't have that exalt. They have the Superdome. They get to watch the brightest lights, some of the best fan bases, the crowd going crazy. They get to watch us pummel Atlanta, Carolina, and Tampa Bay once or twice a year. Tampa Bay, yeah, the Buccaneers. Yeah, I know. It's okay. We'll talk about it later. I get to take pictures with my daughters, Glory, Nia, and Chanel. Preseason, it's like a thing. Tank will come through. We get it on the sidelines, and hopefully these are core memories that they'll always remember. If not, we got pictures. We'll document it. We'll act like they do.
So many records that, franchise leaders and all that stuff.
God has been good.
Does the 21 missed game COVID still kind of?
You say yeah, if that was like the only blemish, but then a year later, like I missed a game against, like.
If you did not miss the COVID game and that streak was still.
Then I would act like it never happened, but. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I was trying to play last year regardless, but that's what I do. If I commit to something, I give it my all. So I only know one way to go.
Cam, in this kind of modern climate, you see a lot of contract disputes, and it's always one side trying to get up on the other. And
Only on the running back side. Like, my guys are fighting for the livelihood here.
In your case, it just felt like from day one, you were talking about the contract, Mickey was talking about the contract. It was very clear that both sides wanted you to stick around. And how does that just kind of speak to?
When the love is reciprocated, it feels good, doesn't it? No, I mean, honestly, when you hear, of course, every agent is supposed to say, hey, my client wants to be here forever. But to hear that same statement from your GM reverberate through the building, and everybody from the legends that are in building, from Jay Romig, again, to John Bumgardner, to who I call Ben. Ben's real name is Benedict Stolberg, to Sean Gibson. Everybody, again, top down, to even my guys, Godet, in the equipment room. There's nobody that you wouldn't rather be around. So when everything makes sense, why fight against it?
Kim, how do you feel this year, a week into training camp?
Man, let's talk about football. I'm loving this idea that we finally drafted a D tackle in the first round. First time it happened in the last 6 years. We won't bring it up again, but good things happen to those who wait. And we got. I think we have a talented one. We've put on pads for the past couple of days, and you see flashes from Brian Brzee that you love to see. I think we have talent in Isaiah Fauski. Granted, he's a Notre Dame guy, so there's a stigma out there. I think that he's got the right mindset to want to be great. I think that you talk about our defense with Demario Davis, Honey Badger, Marshawn Lattimore looks motivated and phenomenal this camp. Paulson Adebo, you talk about Alante Taylor. You just go down the line. Carl Granderson looks stellar this camp. Peyton Turner looks highly motivated, looks strong coming around the corner. His flexibility, sliding him down to a 3 technique. I mean, there's things that he can do that you love to see, and he's finally taking advantage of it, and hopefully that goes into the season. I'm overly hyped about what our defense can do this season, hopefully. And I say hopefully because you never know until those bullets really start flying. So give me a couple games, we'll come back to it. But I'm excited about how we're starting to congeal as a team on the defensive side. You talk about offensive side, as aggressive and competitive as they are. Derek Carr has came in seamlessly and even brought back more of an edge to their offense. if that's even possible with guys like Chris Olave, healthy Mike T, and hitting these sticks, these posts that look phenomenal. Just watching it as we're doing pass rush, we're supposed to go one-on-ones with offensive linemen. Like, I care about offensive linemen, but I'm looking over at our receivers and our DBs going at it. I'm looking at our running backs. You talk about AK, Jamal, and then we have the young buck Kendre Miller, just going after it with our linebackers. Pete going crazy. Like I said, there's nothing but names, talent, and ability on this team. So as long as we live up to our full potential, what's not to be excited about?
You haven't had a veteran rest day yet. Did they give you the option?
I think I'm taking it today. I mean, there's a reason why this conference is at 8 o'clock. It's all calculated.
So is that something, though, that they've offered you before that you've said, I don't want,
That's
or you will
I
take
mean,
them
that's
off?
neither here nor there. I mean, I do believe that the Saints have always done a phenomenal plan. I remember, my first 9 years in the league, I didn't get a vet day period. Now, some guys get some in like year 5. It's impressive to see. For me, it's all about what can I do to get better? What can I do to hone my craft? This is the time period to do so. This is what I look forward to, putting pads on. You put pads on, it's beautiful. You put them Jumpman cleats on, paired with Jumpman gloves, with the Saints Florida Lee on the shoulder, with the shoulder pads underneath the jersey. I'm looking, minus this bubble wrap we got on the head. I'm looking to, hone my craft and inflict some damage. And that's what I get excited about. I look forward to every year. You get to the off season and everybody goes through OTAs. It's two-hand touch, and that's just not something I grew up wanting to play. I wanted to play tackle football. I'm here for this part of the game.
Can you never ever allow yourself to reflect on what you've done in your career with us?
Of course I do. In the off season, it's not off season.
Just saying that, when you sign a deal with the team that you hope is going to let you finish your career here, you take the time then to think about what you've done here and set the franchise sacks record. What do you still want to add to that?
Man, I think earning that earning the official sack record last year was a phenomenal milestone. I still got to get that unofficial. So we'll talk about it later. I think that coming in draft class 2011 being as deep as it was, possibly one of the greatest draft class ever have been had. I got drafted at pick 24, pick 28. Mark Ingram comes in. With that, here's your 2 franchise leading, 1 rusher, and Mark Ingram, and then hopefully your sack leader, and me. So it's easy to look at it and sort of take it with a grain of salt, because that's just what we do. We break records.
Take 2 more and then a photo.
When was the point in your career when you knew that New Orleans was a place that you definitely wanted to stay there?
The moment Mickey and Sean drafted me, I was like, all right, well, this is where I'm going. I probably had a jaded reality with this man sitting right here, 6-time Pro Bowler, 13 years with the Minnesota Vikings, should be a Hall of Famer, but isn't so somehow. Sitting here as a Vikings Ring of Honor, Vikings, all decade, all century, all 50th, whatever, all teams, all these accolades that he has, and he goes in and he still runs 4 times a week and he does all that he does. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, all right, cool, that's me. So, get drafted, and I've never thought about leaving. I play around with the idea of if the Saints try to trade me, I'm going to Atlanta to beat you twice a year. But that's just the pettiness that I have. That's some part of my motivation is to never leave this building. And if do so, I'm trying to come back and create as much damage as I can.
It's kind of interesting that whereas some players might hold out until they get an extension, you're not missing practice until after you got one. But no, you said as a parent that you were going to go hard regardless of the contract situation. And can you speak to that in the context of your durability and maybe where you rank your availability throughout your career compared to other statistics like sacks and so forth?
I've been blessed. In my mind, if you want to know the truth, is when I got drafted, I was like, all right, I got to make a Pro Bowl. You don't want to be the son who goes to the league right after his dad and not make a Pro Bowl. After that, it has all been lanyard. I know one mode, and that's to go as hard as I can. from the time I was born to now, it's been the same idea. Wake up, give everything you got, fall asleep by 9. I don't make it past that. I mean, if we're having conversations, I'm really not there. And that's because I'm giving everything I can give during the day. And this man will attest to it. 10 years old, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm singing at the top of my lungs, then you got to get corrected because everybody else is still sleeping. Some people are irritable. Thanks, Anita Jordan. To what I give now. When I wake up, this guy is officially, my son Tank is officially the only person in the household that can beat me waking up. He's up at 5:30, sword practicing, trying to sneak video games, hopefully reading. But it's just this innate ability to wake up and want to go get it. And that's what I still wake up to this day. So when it comes to what I want to do, what we want to do, what I've always been as a Saint, I'm going to continue doing so till I can't do it anymore.
You're trying to speak a certain number of sacks into existence.
Whew, aren't we all? How many sacks does it take to get to the Super Bowl? Whatever that path is, that's what I need as a player, as a team, as a franchise. If it's God forbid, it's only like 20 or 30 as a team. If it takes 60, that's what I'm looking forward to. And if my part plays in, the goal is always 25. I don't know if we're ever going to get there, but we're going to strive for it each and every time. I think that with our talented D-line, with Tano Passignon, with the additions of Bink, a.k.a. Colin Saunders, I think that we have a force to be reckoned with. If you insert Peyton, Tano, we got Nathan Shepard, Big Shep, I think is somebody who is going to be a sleeper. Brian Brzee, myself, Carl, and whoever else comes in. It's that mindset of it's up to the D-line to take over, and we just got to live up to it each and every play. Sure. Come on, guys. He's semi-retired, right? Like, he's got a cush job like Mark.